Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you and to everybody else in the audience in WIW. So I'd look forward to making sure that I do justice to everybody who's listening in. To your question on my journey, I think it's very difficult to put it in together in a few minutes' time, but I'll try to do justice to it. I have been a strong believer of driving excellence and backing it with purposeful execution of the organizational goals. So, the three words that have always been the central hub for me to do anything have been purpose, passion, profitability, and then everything centered around it with excellence. With that mantra, right from the first day of my job at Tata Unisys, when I used to be a branch accountant and used to earn my pocket money in the form of, bills to pay for your two-wheeler, to possibly eating a meal, or to life today, it's been a very interesting and a very fulfilling and enriching drive. A LinkedIn profile, I have moved across geographies, across corporations, large, complex, with different dynamics on culture. And in each of those corporations, whether it is starting from Tata to GE to American Express, Coca Cola, and now Sony Pictures Networks, all of them have given me a perspective to be agile and to continue to be a learner, because it's very important that in the world today one recreates itself. Pandemic has created a dimension of the world that none of us imagined in the wildest of our dreams. Having said that, in the first quarter itself, the world lost more than 400 million jobs due to the pandemic. And this loss rate continues. Coming in closer home for our country, we have had a GDP deceleration of 23.9%, almost, I would say, 6 million plus job losses. So the pandemic has opened our eyes to the possibilities which go beyond having a full-time secure role. Each one of us has started looking at our roles not just as builders of our career, but also as our livelihood providers. So reskilling in my mind first will undergo a massive shift where each one of us will have to start thinking very differently about what we bring to the table. No more am I an HR specialist who can only contribute to organization culture, design, and engagement. I have to be equally equipped to understand the impacts of data on the operating model. An impact in my mind has been a very distinct and much required focused on mental well-being. I don't think any one of us today can corroborate and say that I'm mentally healthy, because some or the other version of dynamic around our lives is impacting our mind spaces. And this is one part which I think corporations have picked up, and the progressive ones are really taking the health and well-being agenda of the corporate world to the next levels. And I definitely see that phenomena changing. So the virtual work formats are an integral part of corporate culture now. No more are the virtual work formats or flexible work arrangements a unique value proposition for an employer. Now they are a business necessity. I envisage hybrid versions to work wherein corporations would look at skill, talent, the capability, and their dependence on physical infrastructure to be able to decide how the alternate work formats work. And in a likelihood wherein, let's say, there are 100 employees who are associated with a corporate, I envisage that only 20 to 25% may be physically dependent on an office infrastructure. The remaining, whether it is frontline sales or it is individuals who have a lot to do with industry or with stakeholder interactions, may land up taking flexible work options, which is possibly coming in once or twice a week to office, taking hot desk options. And 25 to 30% may actually move on to full time work from home possibilities. And I personally believe the last format is the most progressive one because it creates an amazing opportunity of talent landscape opening for professionals in diverse walks of life. I kind of believe that data has taken paramount significance, specifically in the times now when the whole world is moving to digital interactions. More than 80% of India Inc.'s offline sale formats are starting to move towards e commerce. What will be the best way to really get to know the consumer behavior? It will definitely be through understanding the data of where they purchase from, how much they purchase, what clicks them when it comes into needs and necessity management, and so on. In the same format for employees as well, given that we are moving in a virtual work format, boundaryless work features are becoming more and more an integral part of our ecosystem. Understanding the psyche of the critical talent through data, through forensic assessments, or through evaluations in the form of psychometrics in my mind will again restart taking a priority. I possibly would hope that each one of you, as you are charting your journeys, you look at agility to be one of the most important facets of your career, as it has been for me. And one thing which definitely has always stood out for all the leaders that I have learned from, and I hope I am passing on those learnings to people around, is get the mindset of differentiation out in our own heads before we approach any matter, because human beings have the same cerebral capability and each one of us contributes to it differently. As long as we understand that and bring in inclusion, bring in equity in everything that we do at our workplaces and promote the cause of women in leadership thereby, I think it's a progressive step. One request which I would have for anybody who is thinking about progressing and reskilling themselves is to really get comfortable with data, insights, and thereby your intuitive decisioning on that data. I think my learnings from my journey of experiencing a variety of corporations, industries, cultures with their complexities has been fourfold. First, there's nothing that begets hard work. We all hear multiple facets of smart work versus social networking versus your ability to know the right circuits to get the right job done. All of them are correct. They all are peripheries. But the core central theme which drives you as a professional is hard work. And it's pure, simple hard work. The second learning which I have garnered from my corporate journey, my life journey, has been to drive through purpose, then drive through goals only. The third learning of my corporate journey specifically and life journey has been failing fast and being resilient. I've spoken at many of forums about my personal I would say memory of myself, and I wish I had done it in my 20s and 30s, is failing a lot. Because failure gives you the resilience to move up, to get back on the saddle, and prove to the rest of the world, including yourself, that you learned from your mistake. And last but not the least is what I stated in my initial remarks is continue to be resilient, but at the same time also continue to reinvent yourself. Reinventing yourself can only happen if you're a constant learner. And in my life journey, I have always pushed myself to learn one thing every day. I think the core tenet of being a leader, whether you are a male or a female, or have a gender preference or priority of your choice, has little to do with the way you are, more to do with the way you groom yourself. And if one has to be an inspirational leader in the times of today, when a lot of leadership is getting driven through virtual formats, I would ask of three things for you to consider. And this has been my learning: respect everyone in whatever walks and perspectives of life they come from. Once the respect is there, there is automatically a synonymity with equality that comes into the minds of people. It's been collaboration. I think there's nothing in the world that drives exponential success other than inclusion and collaboration. Imagine the power of a finger versus imagine the power of a fist. The power of a fist supersedes exponentially the power of what a push through a finger will be. And last but not the least, my learning of grooming myself to be a leader has been to more be purpose driven than be goals only. Many a times we are focused on transactional goals for the organization that we are driving, but we somehow lose the sense of why we are doing this. And these four, I would say, journey facets of my life have always kept me honest and have always kept me come back to the ground of working hard, reinventing myself, being resilient, and at the same time being purposeful.